Hey everybody, it's Kristin here from Magoosh. Welcome to another episode of Tuesday CT, and today we are talking about a book review for the new official ACT Prep Guide 2016-2017. It just came out a couple of months ago, and we have some thoughts about it. Now, if you check this book out on Amazon, at least according to when we filmed this video, you're going to find out that the reviews are pretty low. So why is that? Usually the official guides for standardized tests have pretty good reviews because, well, they offer official practice tests, and you're not going to get anything closer than the official practice test from the makers. So why is there a little bit of controversy or mixed feelings about the ACT Prep Guide? Let's go ahead and talk about some pros and cons. So I'm going to give you my pros first, because I think that there are some things that this book actually does really well and better than the old official ACT Prep Guide, which was known as the real ACT Guide. So here's a pro. It actually gives you better lists of the concepts tested on the ACT. This is something the College Board has done for the SAT, and I think it's really helpful. And what I mean by that is, instead of just telling you there's going to be things on algebra or geometry, it will tell you that that students need to be able to find where a graph has a vertical asymptote. It gets that specific. There's a list of math concepts, bullet points that you'll be tested on, and that means you can go through and you can check off things that you know or don't know and have a lot more confidence knowing that you've covered everything, reviewed everything that you need to know for the test, at least on subjects like math and English. Here's another pro. There is a real test prep mindset that I've always kind of liked to the official ACT prep guides. There is even a section in this book that is basically all about an entire chapter about test prep tips, and actually offers some really helpful study strategies as well as techniques such as back solving, using your answer choices to help you estimating, things like that, which is really nice. And a lot of official guides don't do that because they don't want to give the impression that you can do too much test prep for these tests. So I like that about this book. Here is another pro. There are better answer explanations than there were in the past, and honestly I think better answer explanations than the College Board will give for the SAT. So for example, if you're on a geometry question, it will tell you the right answer choice and the answer explanation, but it'll also tell you wrong answer choices and why they're wrong. And it won't just say, well, D is wrong because it's wrong, which is obviously very unhelpful. It'll actually tell you things like, if you chose D, it's probably because you used the formula to find the radius of the circle as opposed to the diameter. And that's like actually what happens when you're taking the test and you screw something up, and you'll see that, say, oh, that's right, I did use the wrong radius, or I used the radius instead of the diameter, or vice versa, and actually figure out where you're making mistakes. So I like that about this book too. So let's talk about the cons. Here's a big con. This is the reason why so many people, tutors, students, are really disappointed with the new guide. And that is that it's not all new material. So to give you a little bit of context here, the old official ACT Prep Guide was really outdated. The science section had changed. The essay section had changed. It was awful. It was an official prep guide that wasn't actually matching the test. So we've been waiting for this book for a long time to actually give us some tests that are like the new test, that match the difficulty of the new test as well too. A lot of students have thought that the test has gotten a lot more challenging, and I agree with that from what I've seen. But the problem with this book is that it doesn't give you all new material. It's a hodgepodge of some older tests, as well as some information, or as well as some test questions that you can find on the ACT website. There are some newer tests in here and some newer questions, but it's not all new, and that kind of sucks for people studying for this test. Going along with that, a con is that there's only 3 practice tests in this book. There were 5 in the old book. 3's, it's a decent number to practice with, but it's not a ton. And so really, ACT, give us some more practice. You can supplement that with what is called the Preparing for the ACT Guide. It's a PDF you can find on the website, so you'll get 1 more practice test there too. So that will give you 4, just a little pro tip for you. And finally, a con. And this may seem kind of specific to you, but I actually think it's a big deal because the format of the science section has changed in the past couple of years. and there's no info on the science section changes in the proportion of question types that are going to be on the science section. And like I said, this is a big deal because a lot of students really struggle with pacing on the science, and they will plan their strategy to spend a certain amount of time on the conflicting viewpoint passage and a certain amount of time on data representation. And this book actually promises at the beginning that it's going to give you the proportion of the question types that you're going to see on the science section, and then it doesn't actually ever give you that information. So that is an unfortunate oversight. I think there's a few other oversights in this book as well too. So pros and cons. Ultimately, should you buy this book? Yeah, you absolutely have to buy this book. It should be an indispensable part of your test prep because where else are you going to get those official questions? And you should be practicing with as much official material as you can. But likely you're going to need to supplement that with other high quality questions and materials. So if you want some of these high quality questions, at Magoosh, we work really hard to match the difficulty and the question types that we're seeing on the latest editions of these tests. And so if you want to check out those practice questions as well, you can go to act.magoosh.com and tune in here next week for some more helpful ACT tips on Tuesday CT.